Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by Harv Eker. Picture this, a young guy with big dreams and endless potential, sitting in his parents' basement, again, for the third time. He'd devoured every self-help book, listened to motivational tapes until he could recite them in his sleep, launched business after business, only to watch them crumble like sandcastles at high tide. He was exhausting himself, but success kept slipping through his fingers. He felt like the world's biggest loser. Then one night, something magical happened. His dad's super wealthy friend dropped by for poker night. He noticed the young man's defeated expression and pulled him aside. What he said next would flip this guy's entire life upside down. "Harv, if things aren't going the way you want, it just means there's something you haven't figured out yet." Then came the kicker. Rich people think one way, and poor people think a completely different way. If you started thinking like rich people do, and doing what they do, don't you think you could get rich too? That beaten-down young man was Harv Eker, and boom. That single conversation lit a bonfire under him. But here's the twist. He didn't become obsessed with business plans or investment schemes. He became fascinated with how wealthy people actually think. He dove headfirst into the psychology of money, and in just 2.5 years, he transformed from broke in the basement to honest-to-goodness millionaire. What he uncovered became his blockbuster book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. It sold millions of copies and completely rewired how people around the globe think about money. And here's his mind-blowing promise. Your financial success has almost nothing to do with your education, your smarts, your timing, or your luck. It has everything to do with something he calls your money blueprint. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what this blueprint is, how it got planted in your brain without you even knowing, and most importantly, how you can completely reprogram it for a life overflowing with abundance. By the time we're done, you won't just have some new information rattling around. You'll see the world and yourself through completely different eyes. So what exactly is this money blueprint Eker keeps talking about? Imagine a thermostat on your wall. If your financial thermostat is set at, let's say, $50,000 a year, you might have an amazing year and pull in $90,000. But before you know it, you'll mysteriously find a way to slide back down to that $50,000 comfort zone. A questionable investment here, an unexpected expense there, some impulsive spending, and bam, you're right back where you started. Flip side. If you hit a rough patch, you'll somehow claw your way back up to that set point. Maybe a random opportunity appears, or a side hustle takes off. The thermostat always wins. This blueprint is basically your subconscious autopilot, your default setting for thinking and feeling about money. And here's the kicker. You never chose it. It got installed when you were a kid, way before you had any say in the matter. Eker breaks down where this programming comes from, and its 3 main sources. First up, there's verbal programming. What kind of money talk floated around your house growing up? Did you hear things like, "Money is the root of all evil," "Rich people are greedy jerks," or the classic, "We can't afford that," on repeat? These weren't just throwaway comments. They carved deep grooves into your subconscious, literally building the foundation of how you relate to money. Eker shares this wild story about a guy named Steven who was raking in over $800,000 a year for 9 straight years, yet was constantly dead broke. Why? Because his mom had drilled into him, rich people are greedy. They make their money off the backs of poor people. Deep in his subconscious, Steven's brain linked being rich with being a terrible human being. So to stay good in his own mind, He had to sabotage himself and get rid of any money beyond bare necessities. He was literally destroying his own success to match a belief he didn't even know was running the show. The second influence is modeling. What did you actually see as a kid? Were your parents spenders or savers? Did they handle money smoothly, or did it trigger World War III at the dinner table every month? Kids learn by watching, and when you're little, your parents are basically your gods. You downloaded their habits, attitudes, and money patterns without even thinking about it. Eker lived this firsthand. His dad was an entrepreneur in home building, and his life was like a financial roller coaster. For a year or two, the family would be drowning in debt while projects were being built. Then, when the houses sold, they'd be swimming in cash. Up and down, over and over. So guess what happened when Harv grew up and started his own businesses? He unconsciously replayed the exact same pattern. He'd make a small fortune, then lose it all, again and again, until he finally realized he was just living out his father's script. Sometimes we don't copy our parents, we rebel. If they were extreme penny pinchers, we might become wild spenders. But here's the problem. That's still messed up. If you're trying to get rich because you're angry and need to prove you're nothing like them, then money gets tangled up with anger in your brain. Even if you succeed, you won't be happy because your whole drive comes from a negative place. The third influence is specific incidents. What actually happened to you around money when you were young? Eker tells this heartbreaking story about a nurse named Josie who came to his seminar. She had a solid income but was always broke. When she dug into her past, she remembered this traumatic moment from when she was 11. She was at a restaurant with her family when her parents got into a nasty fight about money. Her dad, screaming and red-faced, slammed his fist on the table and then just collapsed. He died of a heart attack right there, in her arms. From that moment on, her subconscious created this devastating equation: money equals pain. To escape the pain, she had to get rid of her money. These three forces, what you heard, what you saw, and what you experienced, created your money blueprint. It's a program running in the background, controlling your thoughts, which control your feelings, which control your actions, which ultimately control your results. The formula is simple. Your programming leads to your thoughts lead to your feelings lead to your actions, and your actions lead to your results. So here's the book's first huge lesson. If you want to change the fruit, you've got to change the roots first. If you want to change what's visible, you've got to change what's invisible. Trying to fix your finances without changing your blueprint is like trying to correct a typo on a printed page with an eraser. The problem isn't on the paper, it's in the program. You've got to get to the source code. This brings us to the heart of the book, the wealth files. Eker identifies 17 specific ways that rich people think and act differently from poor and middle-class people. These aren't just random tips. They're new mental programs you can consciously choose to install, overwriting the old, broken ones. Let's dive into some of the most powerful ones. Wealth file number 1. Rich people believe, I create my life. Poor people believe, life happens to me. This is the foundation everything else builds on. Rich people take complete responsibility. They see themselves as the driver of their own lives. Poor people play the victim. Eker says you can spot a victim by 3 telltale signs. First, blame. Victims are Olympic-level blame throwers. They blame the economy, the government, their boss, their spouse, their parents, literally anyone and anything except themselves. Second, justifying. You'll hear them say stuff like, well, money isn't really that important. Eker's response is brutal. If you say something isn't important, you won't have it. Would you get a pet if you didn't think it was important? Of course not. Same goes for money. And third, complaining. Complaining is the absolute worst thing you can do for your wealth. Because whatever you focus on expands. When you complain, you're putting all your attention on what's wrong, and you just get more wrong. You become what Eker colorfully calls a living, breathing crap magnet. The ultimate truth here, you can be a victim or you can be rich, but you can't be both. You have to give up one to get the other. Wealth file number 2. Rich people play the money game to win. Poor people play the money game not to lose. Think about any sport. If you only play defense, what are your chances of winning? Pretty much zero. Yet that's exactly how most people handle their money. Their whole goal is survival and security, not wealth and abundance. Poor people's goal is to have enough to pay the bills. And guess what? That's exactly what they get. Just enough, not a penny more. Middle-class people take it slightly further. They want to be comfortable. But there's a massive difference between comfortable and rich. Eker says if your goal is comfort, you'll probably never get rich. But if your goal is to be rich, you'll probably end up super comfortable. It's about aiming for the stars so you at least hit the moon. Wealth file number 4. Rich people think big. Poor people think small. Eker talks about something he calls the law of income, which says you'll be paid in direct proportion to the value you deliver, according to the marketplace. The key word there is value. And value gets determined by 4 things: supply, demand, quality, and quantity. The one that trips most people up is quantity. How many people do you actually serve or affect? Do you want to play in the big leagues or the little leagues? Most people choose to play small because of fear of failing, and even fear of succeeding. They don't feel good enough or important enough to make a real difference. But Eker reminds us that our lives aren't just about us. They're about contributing to others, about adding our unique piece to the puzzle of the world. The world doesn't need more people playing small. It's time to stop hiding and start stepping up. Big thinking and big actions lead to both money and meaning. Wealth file number 5. Rich people focus on opportunities. Poor people focus on obstacles. Classic glass half full or half empty situation. Poor people, driven by fear, are constantly scanning for what could go wrong. Their default setting is "it won't work." Rich people operate from "it will work because I'll make it work." While poor people are getting ready, stalling for weeks or months, rich people get in the game. Eker calls this entering the corridor. You don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. Life's like a winding river. You can often only see to the next bend, and only when you get there can you see further. Action beats inaction every single time. Wealth file number 6. Rich people admire other rich and successful people. Poor people resent them. This one's subtle but powerful. If you look at wealthy people and think, "those rich jerks," or "they're so lucky," you can never become one yourself. How can you become something you hate? Resenting rich people is one of the fastest ways to stay broke. Instead, Eker suggests we practice something from ancient Huna wisdom: bless that which you want. When you see someone in a gorgeous home, bless that person and bless that home. When you see someone crushing it in business, bless them and their success. By admiring, blessing, and loving rich people, you're telling your subconscious that when you become rich, it's a good thing. Wealth file number 10. Rich people are excellent receivers. Poor people are terrible receivers. This might be the biggest reason most people never reach their full financial potential. A lot of us feel unworthy or undeserving of real wealth. We've been conditioned with punishment, the idea that if we mess up, we don't deserve good things. So when we make a mistake, we subconsciously punish ourselves by saying no to money. But Eker drops this profound truth. Worthiness is just a made-up story. Nobody stamps worthy or unworthy on your forehead at birth. You decide if you're worthy. If you say you are, you are. If you say you're not, you're not. So you might as well make up a story that supports you. Another block to receiving is that old saying, it's better to give than to receive. Eker calls this total nonsense. For every giver, there has to be a receiver. They're two sides of the same coin, and they need to be in perfect balance. If you're not willing to receive, you're actually robbing others of the joy of giving. Wealth file number 13. Rich people focus on their net worth. Poor people focus on their working income. When people talk about money, they usually ask, how much do you make? But the real measure of wealth isn't your paycheck, it's your net worth. Net worth is the value of everything you own, minus everything you owe. Working income is just one of 4 factors that determine your net worth. The 4 factors are: 1. Income from both working and passive sources. 2. Savings. You can earn a fortune, but if you don't keep any of it, you'll never be wealthy. 3. Investments. This is how you make your savings grow. 4. Simplification. This is the secret ingredient. By consciously creating a lifestyle where you need less, you dramatically boost your savings and the money available to invest. Poor people only focus on income. They don't get that. As income goes up, expenses tend to rise right along with it. That's why income alone will never make you rich. You've got to focus on and track your net worth, because whatever you focus on expands. Wealth file number 15. Rich people have their money work hard for them. Poor people work hard for their money. We've all heard you have to work hard for money, but that's only half the story. Working hard by itself will never make you rich. If it did, everyone slaving away at brutal, low-paying jobs would be millionaires. The goal isn't just to work hard, it's to work smart. Rich people understand you have to work hard until your money works hard enough to replace you. The ultimate goal is financial freedom. And financial freedom is simple. It's when your passive income exceeds your expenses. Passive income is money you earn without actively working. It comes from 2 main sources: money working for you through things like stocks, bonds, and real estate, and business working for you through things like rental properties, book royalties, or a business that's systematized to run without you. The idea is to see every dollar not as something to blow, but as a seed you can plant to earn $100 more, which can then be replanted to earn 1,000 more. Poor people choose to spend their money now. Rich people choose balance, investing for tomorrow, so they never have to work again. And finally, a principle that ties everything together. Wealth file number 17. Rich people constantly learn and grow. Poor people think they already know. The 3 most dangerous words you can ever say are, I know that. Because if you're not as rich and happy as you want to be, there's something you don't know. You can be right, or you can be rich, but you can't be both. Being right means clinging to the exact ways of thinking that got you where you are now. The world's constantly changing. If you're not growing, you're dying. Success is a learnable skill. Every master was once a disaster. Nobody's born a financial genius. They learned their way to success, and so can you. The fastest way to get rich and stay rich isn't working on your money. It's working on yourself. The goal isn't just to have piles of cash. It's to grow yourself into the best person you can be. Your outer world is just a reflection of your inner world. You are the root. Your results are the fruits. When you grow yourself into a successful person, in character and mindset, you'll naturally be successful in everything you do. As we zoom out and look at all these ideas together, one powerful truth jumps out. Our financial life isn't shaped by circumstances, but by our inner world. Harv Eker's greatest gift, with Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, is taking this big, spiritual concept and making it incredibly practical. He gives us real language, the money blueprint, the financial thermostat, the wealth files, to understand the invisible forces shaping our lives. The book teaches us that transforming our financial reality isn't about chasing hot stock tips or grinding 80 hours a week. It's about doing the quiet, internal work of examining our own minds. It's about having the guts to ask, what did I learn about money as a kid? Am I blaming others for my situation? Am I playing to win, or just playing not to lose? What I find most amazing is that these principles reach way beyond our bank accounts. The mindset that creates wealth is the same mindset that creates joy, strong relationships, and deep purpose. When you learn to act despite fear in your financial life, you learn to act despite fear everywhere. When you learn to be an excellent receiver of money, you also open yourself up to receive more love, more joy, more opportunities. Eker's principle, how you do anything is how you do everything, rings true on every single page. So how can you start using these lessons today, right now? Here are 3 simple actions. First, just practice awareness. For the next 24 hours, become an observer of your own mind. Notice your thoughts about money. When you see a nice car, what does that little voice in your head say? When a bill shows up, what feeling bubbles up? Don't judge it. Don't try to change it. Just notice. Awareness is always the first step to change. Second, embrace both thinking. The next time you face what seems like an either-or choice, I can either pursue my passion or make good money. I can either have a great career or be a great parent. Stop and ask yourself that powerful question. How can I have both? This one question alone can shift you from a world of limitations to a world of possibilities. Third, start a financial freedom jar. Grab any jar, bottle, or box. Tonight, before you go to sleep, put $1 in it, or a quarter, or a penny. The amount doesn't matter. The habit is everything. This small, physical act sends a powerful message to your subconscious mind and to the universe that you're now on the path to financial freedom. You're managing your money. You're ready for more. That was a deep dive into the core ideas of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by Harv Eker. We've covered a ton of ground today, from the hidden blueprint running your financial life to the 17 ways of thinking that can completely transform it. But let me be honest with you, a summary, no matter how detailed, can only be a map. The real treasure shows up when you walk the path yourself. The true magic happens in those quiet reading moments, when a particular story or simple phrase connects with you in a way you never expected. This summary is a starting point, designed to help you decide if this journey is one you want to take. If anything we've talked about today has sparked something inside you, I really encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning. It's an experience that can genuinely change how you see yourself, your money, and your future. Also, if you found this summary valuable and it gave you a fresh perspective, I'd be so grateful if you'd smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. That way, you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book from the Billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep learning and keep growing together.